This is the Gambling Gauchos.
Welcome into the Gambling Gauchos. I'm Rob Rowe. He's Kyle Jacobson, recording live on the Cardinals Sports Center studio. By the way, a Father's Day giveaway there on Facebook if you're friends with Cardinals or follow along in what they do. It says he shared his time, his wisdom, and his wallet. It's your turn to share what makes your dad the best. So go comment, like the picture on Cardinals, and be in a Father's Day giveaway. Looks like some polos, golf accessories, hats, shorts. Very good stuff. The contest cuts off, if you're listening to this, late June 17th. Father's Day this weekend. They also have the sidewalk sale coming up, July 7th through 10th. It's like Christmas in July. So a couple things to look out for with Cardinals. Of course, you can find them in Lubbock, in Plano, or at mycardinalsports.com.
And as many of our followers and listeners know, I am a father, first Father's Day. So if you were looking for a gift for me, anything from Cardinals will do just fine. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, you're a father and I'm a daddy, right? What?
What? Hey.
Anyways, hey, welcome back, Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you for filling in and doing the crossover episode with often referenced Red Raider Dugout, Keith Patrick. Y'all did a great job. I loved that it went an hour and a half. Just I made a mental note of this when you said, like, all right, I'm done. Any final thoughts? There was like 25 minutes left on the episode.
At least.
Just classic.
I think we did it twice, too.
Yeah. No, but y'all did a great job. I think really summed up a lot of my thoughts pretty well. And I was out of state last week. So you and I haven't done an episode together since the regional preview. And I didn't have a phone for a short amount of time. Threw it into a lake in Wisconsin. So
you threw it into the lake? What happened there?
I mean,
Dropped?
accidentally, yeah.
Tossed?
So
Okay.
Full story, getting to know the Gauchos, sponsored by Diversified Lenders. Check them out at diversifiedlenders.com. I was on a boat cruise because there's a bunch of really nice lakes up there.
The Finger Lakes.
Not the Finger Lakes. It's like New York, Pennsylvania, I think.
Just an office reference.
Right. It is an office reference. Madison is the capital of Wisconsin. And at night, when you're cruising on the lake, the Capitol Dome is lit up. It's very nice. I'm sitting kind of like along the railing, and the Capitol's behind me. And I go, oh, that'd make a nice picture. In hindsight, what I should have done, stand up, take a step back from the railing, and take the picture. What I did was pull my phone out of my pocket, turn over my shoulder like this, try to take it one-handed, and when I clicked to take the picture, lost the phone. There was no like lip or anything, so straight into the lake. Absolutely nothing I could do about it. And by the way, if you're not in the city where you live and you're not within walking distance of a T-Mobile store, do you know how hard it is? Well, just call an Uber. How am I going to do that without a phone? Just call a taxi. I can't call. Some taxi companies have a website. So I tried to hail a taxi on a website. And what do? They ask you to create a profile. They ask for your phone number, and then they text you a verification code. Well, I can't verify my identity. Impossible. So I skirted some rules, made some random guy call an Uber for me, which you're not supposed to do. Thankfully, the Uber driver was cool with it. Got to the T-Mobile store, bought the only iPhone they had, and we're back in business.
You didn't want to wait till you got home to get a new phone because you're on vacation. You needed it for work or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of needed it for work, and I didn't want to be in another state in an airport without a cell phone. Like,
wasn't your wife there?
No.
Oh.
No, I was on a work trip.
Oh, I thought it was a combo trip.
No.
I thought everyone was going down there.
Like,
so you're solo alone.
Yeah, and we probably have some Gen Xers and boomers who are like rolling their eyes that I couldn't survive without a phone for 24 hours. But like, you don't realize. I mean, I would prefer to not be.
Hours, huh?
I would prefer to not be that dependent on the phone. But like, again, when I can't even get in a car to go get a new phone without access to somebody else's cell phone, you don't realize how attached you are
It's tough
until you
man.
don't have one. So anyway,
It's tough. I'm
but
sorry
it's
you
all
went through
good.
that. Yeah, I'm sorry you
I
went
mean,
through that. Must
first
have been
world
tough for you.
problems. I feel like you're patronizing me a little bit.
No, dude.
Anyway, that was getting to know the Gauchos, sponsored by Diversified Lenders.
Lots of news from the last week and a half that we have not talked about. First of all, let's get into the 2023 Big 12. We glossed over the basketball scheduling. I don't think we ever really talked about it. But now that we know the 2023 football will have, let's say, 14 teams, I'm still not convinced that Texas and Oklahoma will be here in the 23 season. But that's what they're claiming because the AAC has come to an agreement. $18 million is the cost of leaving, and they're going to give them, did you see this? 14 years to pay it off.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
They're going to cut that check day one.
1 point something million after you go double your salary in the Big 12. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For those schools and for the AAC, like I guess if they're going to leave anyway, you might as well get something out of them.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm with you as far as not really being certain as to when Texas and OU are leaving. We know that contractually it says that 2024, 2025 would be their last academic year in the Big 12. I think everybody's been skeptical all along if they would actually last that far. If we were trying to like set odds, what year will be their last? What odds would you make 22, 23, and 24?
I would say 5% chance they're gone next year. Like I think Texas and Oklahoma will be here one more year.
Through 2022.
Through 22, 23.
Okay, like football seasons.
Okay. Sorry. You're a little bit confusing there.
I just clarified it for you.
They will play one more football season with the Big 12. And then when they will not play with those other schools. 70% chance they're gone next summer.
I could see that. So you think the favorite is that they have one more year?
Yeah, I've said that. I've said this since day one. When the Big 12 decided that they were going to expand, before anyone was even in, Texas and Oklahoma last July, I think it was July 26th, maybe. It's either right after or right before Big 12 Media Days. They were like, peace, we're gone. I said then, they've got 2 more years.
I just really don't want a temporary conference of 14.
Me neither.
You'd have to redo whatever pods divisions or
Yes
2-3-3 system, whatever they come up with. I don't want to do that for 1 year, 2 years, get acclimated, and then switch again. Like
no.
I don't know.
Unless you have plans to expand to 14 when they leave, and you have 2 waiting to come in and fit those roles, why do it? Just be the Big 12 with 12 teams.
And it would have been awkward.
You know that Texas and Oklahoma would be like, oh, well, we need to be together. And the Big 12 would capitulate because they have for 40 years or 26 years, whatever it is.
What I would love to see happen if that does unfold that way is put Texas and OU with the 5 weakest brands in the Big 12, whatever you consider those to be. So, like, congrats, you're paired with Cincinnati, UCF, Houston. Like, don't even give them the satisfaction of playing Bedlam or BYU, Texas Tech. Be like, okay, since you're in purgatory for the next season or 2, this is the way it's going to be. Like, congrats, you get a home and home with Cincinnati. And West Virginia.
But then are you having to remix that once they leave?
Yeah, and then you make actual.
Like, to me the best is to just set whatever the hell you want to do. If it's going to be 6 and 6 when they leave, if it's the pods when they leave, So you can't do this with the pods. But if it's 6-6, just add Oklahoma on one side and Texas on the other side.
Or make the pods without them. And
just have them line up and play.
Yeah, they're like free agents. They're ineligible to win the conference their last 2 years. Just say, we will assign you 9 conference games. You will play them. It doesn't matter how you fare in those. You cannot win the conference championship as your punishment.
Yeah. But what are they going to be like? Oh, fine, we're leaving. Okay.
Okay, see you.
Bye. Yeah, I don't need them to be here at all.
And you can pay us however many tens of millions on the way out for leaving early. That's the way it should be. They should be punished for how they maneuvered this. But like you're saying, the Big 12 is not going to have the testicular fortitude, as our friend Dallas Braden would say, to actually do that.
Unless, Kyle, they hire a boss with some huevos.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen.
That's been quiet. You want to know what I think on that?
That's why I asked.
Is this like a forum where you and I can both exchange our ideas and opinions?
Yes, it is.
I tweeted kind of a thinly veiled, hey, it's been quiet on this front. And I strategically tweeted that the day after Texas Tech's baseball season ended.
Right.
Now that track is over, I think it is the end of all sports until soccer and football come back, volleyball. If the Big 12 is going...
Yeah, now that track and field is wrapped up this weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
If the Big 12 was going to hire somebody from, just spitballing here, Amazon or Hulu or a sports book, they would not be confined to the athletic season's timeline.
No.
But if they were going to hire, say, a sitting athletic director in the conference, they would probably want to wait until that athletic director's respective athletic season had concluded.
Right.
So it's been awful quiet. We think that Kirby Hocutt would be a very qualified candidate. If he is the next Big 12 commissioner, I would not have expected to hear something before now, but I would expect to hear something between now and media days, I guess, is when they hope to unveil this. So,
well, those quotes got crossed a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Dr. Lawrence Skubanek said, we hope to have that named before Big 12 Media Day. And so everyone was like, it's going to be released at Big 12. No, it's not. It's going to be released before Big 12 Media Day.
Yeah, that's when I think he'll be introduced, but it'll be announced before then.
Because if you have a new Big 12 commissioner, you want him there running the Big 12 Media Day.
Yeah, casting the vision for the future, especially now that you're on an expedited timeline with the 4 new members coming in 23 instead of 24. So I don't know. I could be seeing smoke that isn't really there. Maybe that's a coincidental timeline, but I've been thinking for several weeks now, like if they were going outside of an existing AD or something, because even like if it was somebody in the Big 12 office right now, like a vice commissioner, assistant commissioner, same deal. That guy's not attached to any athletic program's schedule. So,
and there's not even any Big 12 teams left in the College World Series.
Right. Yeah. Just a few former ones.
Just 2 SEC schools.
Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I don't have any scoop there. But it just seems to me if they wanted Kirby Hocutt to be the guy, they would have waited until Texas Tech baseball and track concluded and then formalized it. So if it is him, I think it'll play out in the next few weeks. If it was never going to be him because it's going to be some guy from Hulu or a sports book, I feel like they could have done it sooner.
Yes. I mean, the initial run was 90 days, but you still haven't even heard from like Oliver Luck on anything, and that's 90 days from whenever that came down. So I mean, we're
close.
Yeah,
because that was late March, early April.
Yeah,
I think because it was after basketball season.
2 weeks ago, I think. on the Raiderland, we pegged it as the last Tuesday in June is when we would make the announcement. Not that the Raiderland is making that announcement. You can listen weekdays, kkn.com. But that the Big 12 would be making the announcement the last Tuesday in June.
And
so there's the prediction.
What do we think? So I was about to say it's been very quiet throughout the process. There was one little report that they liked. I think it was the president of Washington State University.
Yes, and that was like, I didn't see any validity in that report.
That felt to me like a poison pill type. Like somebody heard that rumor and was like, "Hey, report this so that everybody can see how ridiculous this is."
Yes,
and it feels like that got shot down really quickly.
Because it was like, my industry sources say that everyone likes this guy, and it's like, well, your industry sources are idiots.
Yeah, and part of me is like not going to put it past the Big 12 to screw this up because they hired Bob Bowlesby for a decade.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, there's no way they're going to just hire. There's no way they don't see the writing on the wall and they just hire somebody who's not adequately equipped to navigate the future. But then again, yeah, they absolutely could do that.
I have zero respect for the Big 12 conference. You know, I continually see them doing things that I don't agree with. They do not run the conference how I would run the conference. I always think I'm right anyways, as you can well attest. But I do trust Lawrence Skubanek, who is the Big 12 chair and has some control into what's going on. If they can not let Texas and Oklahoma be involved, which they shouldn't be, and they can get some of these new schools on board with a similar vision, I think you can have a rebound from the Big 12. But you have to first say, we need to rebound. You're not a strong conference right now.
Although they did get
it was a surprise, though, that they got a bump in TV money.
They got a good number. And, I think what we've seen with all this, Texas and OU moving, Bob Bowlesby resigning, it's kind of a peek behind the curtain as to how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
And it's not always a pretty process. But if the sausage is going to be made, do you know where I'm going to eat some of that?
Yeah, Rahino Barbecue.
That's right.
I love do that in Plainview, in Amarillo, but most often in Olton, Texas.
I love that you and Keith kept the great segues as well.
Thank you. We tried.
Y'all did a good job at that. Yes, RahinoBBQ.com. Follow them on social media as well. They're on Instagram, Twitter, so you can find out where their mobile truck is going, or you can just go to the home base in Olton, Texas. Short, beautiful drive from Lubbock. They do have really good sausage. They've got good burgers, brisket, ribs, everything else as well.
Poppers.
So check out our friends at Rahino Barbecue if you'd rather eat the sausage than see how the sausage gets made. I have one more point on this, Rob. The Pac-12, and let me finish because I'm not going where you think I'm going. The Pac-12 media rights expires in the summer of 2023. I think the Texas and OU to the SEC stuff is not related to, but I think that coinciding at the same time as potentially USC, Oregon, UCLA bolting to the Big Ten could act as like just a second catalyst to be a reset before the end of 2024. So I could see if the Big Ten poaches the Pac-12 in the summer of 2023 or slightly before then, I could see the TV networks essentially just negotiating some kind of deals like, okay, Texas and OU to the SEC in 23, USC, UCLA, Oregon to the Big Ten in 2023, and then, Arizona State to the Big 12 in 2023, whatever they want to come up with. Yep. But I think that this is not all going to happen in a vacuum. If the Pac-12 just stands pat at 12 and renews, then I think Texas and OU are still kind of in a bind. But if there's a huge college football-wide landscape shift in the summer of 2023, I could see that ushering them out the door a little bit sooner.
It does seem like through this last kind of movement there's one or two more shoes to drop because the Big 12 doesn't seem finished. The Pac-12 was basically like, well, we don't want to expand yet. And then they completely shut down talks of expansion. And then the Big 10 was going to add somebody for a month and a half and then was just like, oh, never mind, we're going to do what do they call it? An alliance. And then they signed the richest TV deal in the history of TV deals with collegiate sports. So
Yeah.
it seems like one more thing's going to happen, one more big thing. And it could be
Yeah.
that. It could be the Big 10 expansion.
And to me, if you're the Big Ten,
To 20?
well, so I mean, if you
Surely
see,
they'd cut some first, right? Like you're
No.
cutting Rutgers.
no, they won't cut anybody. But if you see the way the SEC is going, which will now have appeal from Texas all the way over to Florida and everywhere in between, it's not quite a national conference, but it may as well because it's going to carry a ton of national weight. If you're the Big Ten and you want to poach, now seems like the time to do it. You'd be a coast-to-coast conference.
Yeah,
I
New
guess
York
you-
to LA.
I guess you could wait on the ACC if you wanted Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia Tech,
But
maybe.
they're way into it.
Yeah, they've got a long ways to go before their grant of rights is up. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if they want to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, while the SEC adds Texas and OU, two huge brands, they need to go now and get USC,
Yeah.
UCLA, Oregon. I don't know if the fourth would be Colorado, just as kind of a bridge to like Nebraska and the rest of the Big Ten. Gets you Denver. I mean, that's a super fast growing area.
They want
but
Stanford, right?
I don't know. Yeah, so they could
I
add
don't know that Stanford would go, but
Washington, Oregon, Stanford, Colorado, USC, UCLA. That'd be 6. That would get them to 20. And the SEC would be at 16. And then I think some folks in the ACC start jumping ship. Because if you're if
they
you're a
could
brand
add
like
Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Georgia Tech, to
North
the
Carolina,
SEC.
Virginia,
That
I
gets
think
them to 20.
would disperse to both of those conferences. Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, yeah, interesting stuff. But anyway, all that to say, I think that the movement with the Pac-12 and the Big Ten potentially, that would be about a year from now,
Right.
could influence when and how Texas and OU leave.
Yeah. Huh. I still think, independent of all that, they're not going to wait around for another year after this year. I still think it's out there. Did you see Lincoln Riley's quotes?
Mm-mm.
What was it? Too long, didn't read. TLDR.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, he said that he was never going to be able to build a championship roster at Oklahoma because he went to the playoff 4 times and had the worst roster in the playoff 3 times.
Mm-hmm. He's
By a
right.
Pretty wide gap.
He's right, by the way.
Yeah. I agree. Can he
And
build it at USC? Feels like it.
I was thinking about this, and we don't have to dive into all this, but as I was watching the college baseball postseason, I was really sincerely cherishing the level of parity in that sport. That East Carolina is hosting a super regional and had a legitimate shot to go to Omaha and win the whole thing. Tennessee, the team everybody thought was untouchable, doesn't even make it to Omaha. There are 50 college baseball programs plus that very realistically could win a national championship.
Right.
There are 5 college football programs, I feel like. 8 if you went on potential, I'd say okay, USC could. Bama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Ohio State, Clemson, Notre Dame, Oregon. And
Notre
even-
Dame hadn't been close even when they've gotten there.
Yeah, even those are like fringe, and it takes some of the luster out of the sport when like there is nothing in the world Joey McGuire and Zach Hitley and the whole gang could do next year to win a national championship. It's just not going to happen. It is almost literally impossible. And you're not alone. There's the 55 other Power 5 programs are in the same boat as you. even if an Oklahoma State or Baylor last year had made the college football playoff, they're getting trounced by Georgia or Alabama in round one.
Yes.
It's just the reality. So I don't know what the answer is. I wish college football had as much parity as college basketball, college baseball did. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox there.
Beautiful sport, man.
Hey.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
Yeah. Wanted to plug real quick. We had a very special guest here in the Cardinal Sports Center studio a couple weeks ago. Former Texas Tech offensive lineman Cody Campbell. His name is now on the field thanks to a generous contribution. Current member of the Board of Regents as well. We are building a Patreon website that is designed to give you added benefits as a listener to the Gambling Gauchos. You get early access to our public episodes, exclusive access to private episodes, access to our Discord server, and we just announced we are donating a portion of all proceeds that come through Patreon to the Matador Club to go right back to supporting Texas Tech student athletes. Here's a quick clip of Cody Campbell when he joined us a couple weeks ago to talk about all sorts of things, his playing career, his thoughts on Joey McGuire, facilities at Texas Tech, NIL. Here's a preview, and if you want to unlock the full episode, as well as our other interviews.
As I mentioned, I'm a fourth generation Red Raider. My great grandfather was on the very first football team at Texas Tech in 1925. And my dad played football at Tech. My brother played baseball at Tech. And so it's just, it's a very meaningful thing to my family. And I know how important Tech football is, in particular to the community in West Texas and in Lubbock in particular. And so I just wanted to do something for it. And, it's been so meaningful to my family that I just wanted to give back. And so, having my name on the field, linemen often don't get their numbers retired. They don't get, their name up in the stadium. But having an offensive lineman's name on that field is kind of special in a way to me because, I don't have any eligibility left, but I can still be out there with those guys in a way. And so it's just a pretty awesome opportunity and, one that I really, had the means to do it. And, it's just something I couldn't not do. So as far as plans go, they're fairly advanced. They're very cool. Everybody's going to be extremely happy with it. It's a world-class, national class type project. We're going to have the nicest, best facilities in the conference. And we've raised a ton of money beyond what I've given. So it's going to happen. The reason that it's taken a little longer is because we'd originally planned to stage it out. So do the football training facility first and then do the south end zone. But we've been able to get the funding in place to do both at the same time, which makes a lot more sense in terms of the long-term planning and just the ultimate product. And so they sort of rejiggered things and planned them together. And guys, it is sweet. So I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is. In fact, I'm meeting with somebody tomorrow on it. But I think in some point this summer, everybody will get to see what we've been working on. It is absolutely incredible.
Again, that was Cody Campbell. Very excited about the south end zone. I wanted the scoop there, Kyle. I wanted the scoop. He was so close.
But I also think
he wanted to do it.
I also think there legitimately some stuff still yet to be determined. So I don't know.
Well, it is good that they've raised the funds for both projects together, and they're going to do them together. I hope they're cohesive.
Yeah. I
and
think
by cohesive, I mean legitimately cohesive to where you basically tear down the south end and open that sucker up all the way to the football facility, and that road is gone, and you're just can walk in and out right there. And there's a Hall of Fame and all kinds of stuff in the area.
Rob, I misspoke earlier when I said that it was the off season.
Yeah,
because the Lubbock Matadors are still in action.
That's true.
I think they've gone 1-1 since we last recorded. A long stretch on the road. They're back at home, I think, for the next 3 games.
I think they were 1-2, Kyle.
I couldn't remember. I know they won.
They double dipped this week. They played on Thursday and Saturday.
That's tough. That's a tough turnaround.
That's a tough road trip, man. in
Seeing these
Laredo and
clips-
Brownswood.
Seeing these clips of them on the road, they've got like these other Brownsville.
Brownwood.
Brownwood does not have an NPSL team. I'm pretty sure. Brownsville might. Yeah. Those Lubbock crowds kind of put these opposing crowds to shame.
Not even close, really.
Like 50 to 100 times more people at a game in Lubbock.
That's not hyperbole at all.
No, it's a special home atmosphere. It really is a lot of fun. You and I have both been out there at Lowry Field. If you haven't been yet, go get tickets for the game. This Saturday is Ted Lasso night. They're giving out 1,000 mustaches to the first 1,000 fans.
If you need them. But Kyle, you shaved your mustache.
Yeah, I was at
I thought you were going for that.
Yeah, I was. I can go back out, so it's no big deal.
In 3 days?
I don't know about that, but it wouldn't
I
look
guess
very robust.
You
in
have
3
6
days.
days, yeah, Saturday.
So
The
anyway,
18th.
go check them out. LubbockMatadors.com. You can gear up for the Matadors at Cardinals. They've got some cool kits and all that good stuff. And I think we're going to do a player interview this week ahead of that game. So keep an eye out for that.
Kyle, if it's Monday, how many days away is Saturday?
5.
Okay. I agree.
Is that a trick question?
No, it's just there's some like what's the first day of the week, and
Oh, like
Monday to Monday is 7 days,
like
not 8.
some legalese.
Yeah, people just talk weird.
Yeah.
What is the first day of the week?
I think Monday. Somebody told me it was Sunday,
Yeah.
and
No, because then it's the weekend.
I was like, no, Sunday's the end of the weekend, and then your
Yeah.
week starts on Monday.
Yeah, it makes no sense to say Sunday is the first day of the week. Monday is
if
the
you
first day of the week.
Look at a calendar. Sunday's in the far left column. I don't know. That doesn't
Yeah,
jive
but
with me.
We're in the real world, Kyle.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Monday is the first day of the week.
I also treat Thursday like that's basically the weekend. On Thursday
It's
when you're
Little
off
Friday.
on
Yeah.
Thursday when you're off work, it's the weekend. And like you have to go
Yeah.
back to work on Friday, but that's like it's Friday. So you're there. To me, on Thursday at 5:30, it's the weekend. Until Monday at 8 a.m. That's how I roll.
So you're in favor of the 4-day work week.
Yeah, but then Thursday would be the weekend. And it'd be a 3-day work week. Essentially.
No, but you still. Anyways,
You want to talk basketball roster news that just broke earlier today?
yeah. So the scholarships are done.
Are they?
Allegedly.
Is it basically down to now either Nadolny is number 13 or number 13 is open?
Yes.
Okay.
But
That's
as
what I
far
thought.
as we know, Nadolny is still
Yeah.
on campus. Yeah. If not
Haven't
on
heard.
campus, then available to be on campus in the fall.
Haven't heard otherwise.
So that's 13 scholarships.
Yeah.
Am I boring you, Kyle?
No. Remember, I'm a new father, so
Sorry.
sometimes I just yawn throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, 13 scholarships. And let's just talk about Kerwin for a second.
Okay.
Kerwin Walton from North Carolina.
Go Tar Heels.
I've seen a lot of people say automatic starter, big addition, huge mamba jamba. Let's just look at the facts, Kyle. Let's
People were
just look at the
saying-
facts.
People were saying huge Mamba Jamba.
Yeah, let's just look at the facts.
Okay.
The dude played 13 minutes a game with North Carolina last year when they were good. Started one game, 3 points per game. I mean, do those sound like Texas Tech quality transfer to come in and make an immediate impact day one? Or
Well-
does it sound like maybe eighth guy on the bench, huge role, carve it out, there's an opportunity, but day one starter just does not seem right to me.
Are you going to be upset if I push back on this?
No?
Okay.
When have I ever gotten upset at you, Kyle?
Hardly ever. I am not saying that I agree with the takes of automatic starter. what I will say is this, just to add a little bit of context to the numbers you just read off. North Carolina, second half of this year, basically had a 6-man rotation. He was not in that rotation, which obviously did not lend itself to minutes played or filling up a stat sheet. But as a freshman, he shot a pretty high percentage from 3 at volume. I think either set the North Carolina record for 3-point percentage with a certain minimum shots or total number of 3-pointers made in a season. So like there is some definite 3-point potential there. I think if you exclude freshmen, and I want to reiterate that I think of the freshmen you're bringing in, I expect probably 2 of them to be hits as far as playing right away, but you don't want to count on that.
Right.
You're essentially looking for a starting wing across from Jalen Tyson. And as far as guys with any amount of experience, that's either Kerwin Walton or Demarion Williams. Now, I agree with you. As of today, I would project Demarion Williams to be the starter at that other guard spot. If a Elijah Fisher or Washington Isaacs don't just really emerge as a freshman who can play immediately like Jemias Ramsey. So having said that, I could see it going either way. If it's the case that Mark Adams and staff really prioritize experience and it comes down to him or Demarion Williams, I could see him, if he impresses this offseason, working his way into a starting role. Or I could see what you're saying where he doesn't quite develop into what they want him to be. He's strictly a 3-point shooter who comes in for 8 to 12 minutes a game. I'll
And
also say
maybe
this.
Okay.
If you just gave me Adonis Arms' resume when he transferred in last year, I would have said, yeah, that's your 10th guy on the bench. He was a starter 6-man type throughout the year, depending on who was available. So I'm not saying every guy who comes in under the radar automatically turns into a starter, but I basically what I'm saying is that it's a major cop out. I don't know what Kerwin Walton will be.
Kerwin Walton will either be Adonis Arms or Sardar Calhoun. Power 5 transfer coming in. Everyone thought he would take a leap at Texas Tech. He did not. He did not earn minutes. He left.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that Kerwin Walton will leave if he doesn't earn minutes, but like those are kind of the two, and they're not like the same player. I'm not saying that. They're just
Right.
like as a Power 5 transfer, you're either going to immediately step up and be in a role as a role player or a starter, or kind of fade away like Joel Ntombwe and Sardar Calhoun and other guys who've come.
Buzo. I mean, I could see this guy being just like Buzo. The 3-point potential is there, but the defensive rotations don't click well enough, and so he can't find enough minutes. And
he played a lot as a freshman in Roy Williams' system. And then the system flips. You're with the new guy. It's Hubert Davis. So maybe there's something there too. There was a coaching change.
I will
Obviously did
say
not mesh.
I like the volume of 3-point shooters that they took this class.
Yes.
I think overall that was probably your biggest Achilles heel last season. So, I, to an extent, of course, trust Steve Green to identify the type of player that would work in his system. Maybe
Right.
Kerwin Walton wasn't a fit in Hubert Davis' system, but is in Steve Green's system. And when I say a fit, that could be 18 minutes a game. It could be 28 minutes a game. That's probably up to Kerwin Walton to some extent. But just looking top to bottom on the roster, I think it's undeniable that there's a lot more 3-point shooting potential than there was last season. I don't know if he'll be
Yes.
as elite defensively because there was so much length and athleticism top to bottom last season. But
And you had
it's part of
a
the trade-off.
National Defensive Player of the Year candidate.
Right. Yeah, that's part of the trade-off. Like,
He's not here anymore.
yeah, and if McCullough could shoot 40% from 3 with his defensive makeup,
He'd probably still be here.
he'd be a lottery pick, But fact of
Yeah.
the matter is, a lot of guys, they've got some aspects of the game, they lack others, and you do the best you can. But I think you could have a starting lineup next year where 1 through 5 are all guys that are anywhere ranging from you can't leave them alone from 3 to they're really good 3-point shooters and they'll make you pay. Like if
Starting lineup, go.
Devion Harmon at the 1, and
Yeah.
I think he might be your worst 3-point shooter at 36 or 37%, which is a great spot to be in if that's your worst guy, because that was like your best guy a lot of times last season.
Yeah.
Devion Harmon at the 1. I'll go Demarion Williams and Jalen Tyson on the wings, O'Banner 4, Fardaws 5.
Agreed. And if it's Fisher or Washington or Kerwin Walton in the place of Damari Williams, one of those four will start. And then Pop will be the next 20 minutes off the point guard position if he's good enough, right? Because you got to get here and be good enough first.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see the competition for the wing spots. I do think Jalen Tyson is a starter, but the way I look at it, if you have a true point guard, which I would imagine the way things are trending right now, you have Devion Harmon going 26 or 28 minutes, and then Nadolny or Pop subbing behind him for the remainder. So the way I see it, unlike last year where you didn't really have a true point guard and you had three wings just kind of rotating, you have two wings rotating. So they're splitting 80 minutes. Let's say Jalen Tyson gets 28 of those. You're looking at 25 apiece or so among the other two. So really, even whoever the odd man out is, like if Damarian Williams just edges out Washington or Fisher for that starting spot, the sixth man could still get 26 to 28 minutes a game. And then Bacho is your first post player off the bench.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some rotations where you're playing small ball a little bit and you have three wings without O'Banner on the floor. And basically Jalen Tyson's playing the 4 at times. Or whoever else. He did that a lot last year.
You want maybe a hot take?
Sure.
I'm trying to think of how to frame this. But if there was a player who I think could have the biggest impact on the team by exceeding expectations, I'm going with incoming freshman Robert Jennings. Because he, to me, looks like a tweener.
Yeah.
Where he could play the 3 with O'Banner at the 4. Or like you're saying, if you go small ball and those are your two post players, gives you a lot of versatility. I don't know exactly what kind of game he has, but if he shows up at an athletic 6'7", 6'8", and can play the wing or the post, because Bacho can't play the wing. You know, like Bacho goes in.
It's like if KJ Allen had a jump shot.
Yeah. So that's kind of what
here too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I view him as like a KJ Allen positionless tweener, maybe with a better all-around game or all-around athleticism. I know KJ Allen can dunk like crazy, but that's the name I'm looking at. I think Pop Isaac's got a lot of the attention from the freshman class, Elijah Fisher as well, now that he's come in. But if Jennings is one of those sneaky guys who's like, they're in camp and they're like, hey, this kid can play, and he can go 16 to 20 minutes a game. I'm not saying he can or can't. I think that would have a huge impact on this team compared to if, like, let's say Pop Isaacs is a dude that's great, but you already have Devion Harmon. And so you can run 2 point guards out there at the same time, but I don't know how much that really helps you in the grand scheme of things. So Jennings is a guy that I'm really pulling for if he is ready immediately.
Speaking of Patreon, we've got some Discord questions if you want to jump into them.
Sure. Are the Discord questions sponsored by anybody? Do you want to do an ad read? That's what I'm asking?
Yeah, I got you. I was trying to get there with you.
So Discord is kind of like a new technology. I'm sure there's like some coding on the back end that makes Discord a usable
that fits
app.
Better. I was trying to go with something else.
Somebody slanders you in the Discord.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call? We'll get there. Code Ninjas.
You like broke my brain trying to get to that. Anyways, go ahead. Code Ninjas.
I'll put you on the spot. Code Ninjas teaches kids ages 5 to 14 how to level up their coding, STEM, and engineering skills, all in a fun and hands-on environment. They've got the year-round programs, but right now they've got a litany, Rob, of summer programs available for the Niños, and they're week-long all summer. These camps use technology that your kids already love, like Legos, Minecraft, Roblox, to expand their skills, creativity, and confidence. As you alluded to last episode, build a game controller out of bananas, shoot an animated movie, start a YouTube channel or a Patreon account, like patreon.com/GamblingGauchos. Create and print in 3D or design a charging robot rhino. And of course, because Code Ninjas loves Gambling Gauchos so much, and we love them back, Gambling Gauchos listeners get a $10 off promo code when you check out and use the promo code Gauchos. CodeNinjas.com. That's available at any Lubbock location. The promo code 806-370-0022. Like I said, ton of offerings for the summer. Keep the kids busy. Keep them learning in a fun environment. Code Ninjas.
Love it.
Okay, what do we have from Discord?
Is Tyler Shuck going to be the starting quarterback? That's the first one.
Well, you already tweeted that
Game
QB1
one.
was that QB1 was looking good.
Yeah, he was. I'm asking you first. Game one, is Tyler Shuck the starter?
Yeah. I'd probably take that even at like, minus 200, minus 300.
Game five.
If you gave me Shuck or the field at even odds, game 5. I might go the field
Okay.
just because you start off with a tough stretch, could get
Yes.
hurt.
Injury risk.
I don't know. I hope he's playing well through 5 games and it's still there. I'm obviously
Game
not rooting
8.
for anybody to get injured, but
Game 8.
yeah, I mean, the further along you go, the less likely.
Hammer in the field. If Tyler Shuck's the day one starter, I am all in on him being the starter the entire year. Because that means he's playing well.
Yeah, 100%. In a way, this is a beauty of having a tough non-con schedule. You're not going to learn anything about the team by playing Murray State.
Yeah.
Go Racers. But Houston and North Carolina State should tell you quite a bit, I would think. Those are 2 teams that are right there in the caliber of the middle of the Big 12 most years. So it kind of gives you a clean slate. I mean, I want to win the non-con games, but if you need to make a change before game 4, you should have a pretty good inkling that needs to happen. Versus the years where you play Eastern Washington,
right,
and whoever else,
Montana State.
Yeah.
Was the struggle last year against SFA Shuck struggle or Cumbie struggle? Because there was like a 4th down with no tight ends in empty, and he just stays in the play, and they're obviously blitzing, and he gets smoked, and he fumbles.
I think,
is that a Shuck problem or a Cumbie problem?
I think when you play a game that you don't deserve to win against SFA, it's not one coordinator or one player.
Right.
You scored, I don't remember the final score. Taj Brooks scored a 62-yard touchdown. And
Ezukama.
I think Ezukama had a really long touchdown that was like a little bit lucky.
It's on a 3rd play.
Yeah, it was 3rd and 10, and he just gets behind the defense. I don't know what happened. If those 2 plays don't materialize,
yeah,
you probably deserve to lose the SFA even with those 2 plays materializing.
Yes, you did.
So anyway, I say all that to say it wasn't just Shuck or Cumbie. Like the whole team probably deserves some heartburn there.
Yeah, that game seemed more on coaching than playing. Neither were good.
Yeah.
Not to speak ill of those who've left us behind, but
yeah. So somebody asks, if yes, will he be the starter the entire season? I'm going to say no, only because you haven't had a starter for the entire season since 2015 Patrick Mahomes. Am I correct on
16.
that?
16.
No, he got hurt. Shimanek started a game, right?
Nope. He just came in for Kansas.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Never
He didn't
started
start
one.
that game. Yeah. So, yeah.
He should have started the Iowa State game.
Yeah.
He should have started against Kansas State too, probably in that 16 season.
Yeah.
But DeAndre Washington went Superman mode.
So, yeah, I mean, just with the frequency of quarterback injuries we've seen lately, I'm in the I'll believe it when I see it camp as far as
even through like the rest of the Big 12, Brock Purdy was the only quarterback maybe last year that started all of the games.
I'll say this too. Donovan Smith looked extremely durable to me. He got hit, and he also laid the lumber on some guys and always popped back up.
Yep.
Mahomes, that season you're talking about, I think at the end was playing with a sprained shoulder, a broken wrist, and a sprained knee. So he was just going to play. But guys like Bowman, you don't sense that same durability. I'm not saying Shuck is as, I don't want to say fragile, but
Right.
you just don't know. And so
Yeah.
unless Shuck just struck me as an extremely durable guy like Mahomes or Donovan Smith, I'd err on the side of like, yeah, I guess it's more likely than not that he misses at least one game due to injury because that seems to be the norm most of the time.
Yeah. Agreed. I would take the field on. If you give me any of the three quarterbacks, I would take the field on if they started all 12 games.
We had another question. It wasn't when we asked for questions, but in the Discord, which you can get access to if you subscribe to our Patreon, portions go to the Matador Club. He asked, he said, I just finished the latest episode of The Brand. I'm enjoying it. Do y'all know if other schools do similar things?
I know Kansas does on ESPN Plus. It used to be called Miles to Go, but Les Miles not around anymore.
Yeah.
I know Ole Miss does a version that they've done for a while.
I think I've seen these more on like social media and YouTube type series.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty rare. It's not exclusive to Texas Tech, but it's a good marketing tool for sure.
Yeah.
Especially a first year head coach. This was something I heard when Cliff was here. People really wanted to be behind Cliff and support the team. And he was not quite winning enough to get that buy-in. If you're not winning quite enough, you can make up for it by being very visible in the community, offering a lot of access to the program. That wasn't his cup of tea either.
No.
Now, you can be cold-blooded, cold-hearted, no access to the program if you're winning 9 or 10 games. But I think it's a good move for Joey in year one as he's establishing some credibility and reputation with the fan base to open the doors and do things like this. So, and hopefully they're still doing stuff like this if he gets this thing rolling and we do win 9 or 10 games. But even if that doesn't quite materialize, I think it's a very smart move. I think he knows what he's doing as CEO of a modern college football program.
Certainly feels that way.
Because, Cliff wouldn't even tweet.
No.
So, and I love Cliff. I'm not trying to like dog Cliff, but he was
right.
He was an introvert, and that's fine. But the fans, they want a taste of the action. So
they want a taste of the glory. Cliff, after he was mercilessly made fun of for his two-turnt university Beyonce ice bucket challenge, really closed it out after that. He didn't really put much more effort into it after that one.
Yeah, it just wasn't him.
You got razzed too much for that, or what?
Yeah, I think that was square peg, round hole.
Basically the only thing you heard during the Kingsbury era in the summer was like guys punching holes through windshields. You know who he could have called?
Yeah, Barnett, Howard, and Williams. Now, whether you've been accused of smashing in someone's windshield or you suffer catastrophic injury to your fist from allegedly punching in someone's windshield.
Right.
The only folks to call are 3 double Texas Tech graduates. They're officed in Fort Worth, but they handle cases all across Texas. One of the only law firms in the Lone Star State certified for Title IX student representation. They've defended students, including scholarship athletes, in Title IX litigation at all major universities in Texas. Barnett, Howard, and Williams handles catastrophic injury cases across the state. And for listeners in the DFW area, they handle criminal defense and family law matters. The Barnett, Howard, and Williams law firm hopes you never need them, but they are in your corner if you do. You can find out more by visiting their website, bhwlawfirm.com.
Great guys.
Great guys. Speaking of Nacho Libre, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on the greatest Red Raider of all time bracket.
Yeah. Are we going to do a movie quote bracket next?
Yeah. Hey, it's middle of June, so we got to find something to tweet.
Get that car out of my face.
Get that corn out of my face.
I'm a man of science.
I want to give our listeners a chance to hear our debate on this.
Yeah.
And I've compiled.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. The shirt you're wearing I saw a guy on TikTok wearing that shirt the other day.
Really?
Some OG Gambling Gauchos merch.
We've glowed up, as
Yeah.
the kids say, at Cardinals. We've come a long way since this shirt.
Yeah, the initial run of Gambling Gauchos merch. You know what I also just realized?
What'd you just realize?
I'm an awful person.
You
That
just now
guy sent
realized that?
us yeah. Thank you, Kyle. How long have you known?
Are you gonna bring up the Hale
How
Center
long have you
gym?
known? Yeah. That guy sent us 2 hats and I never sent one back to him.
Oh shoot!
I will. Hey, if you're listening, I'll DM that guy today.
We could also send
I'm
him
gonna
a.
send him I'm gonna send him a shirt too.
I was gonna say there's more stock of shirts. I think they might be out of hats at Cardinals. I don't want to speak for their inventory.
Okay.
But
Well,
last time I
we'll
was there,
figure
there's
something
more
out.
shirts. Yeah, that'd be a nice touch. Give them a shirt.
That was my bad. I meant to do that day and then
What's
Gee
funny
whiz.
is I've thought about that like 3 times, but I forgot to text you about it to be like, hey, do we still have those
Yeah.
hats? But
no. Damn.
anyway,
Yeah.
I want our listeners to have a chance to hear our thoughts on this before we open the voting. And I've got a couple bones to pick with the fan base. As far as being closed-minded based on one metric,
Yeah.
Cheryl Swoops won a national championship. Okay, so did Divine Oduduru, and he didn't even make it this far.
Right.
Oh, she's got the Olympic medals too. Okay, Sally Kipyego, national champions and Olympic medals. She's not even in it anymore. So if that's all we're going off of, there's some people, Michael Crabtree doesn't have an Olympic medal. He's in here. Anyway, I digress. I encourage people to be open-minded and consider the totality of the resume. In the Scarlet region, on the football side of the bracket, we have Michael Crabtree, Texas Tech Ring of Honor. You can make a case, most productive, best college wide receiver of all time.
First back-to-back Plitnikoff winner ever.
Yes. Versus Gabe Rivera, Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year in the early 80s, also Texas Tech Ring of Honor, both first-round draft picks in the NFL. Tough choice because, you got modern versus throwback, offense, defense. How are you
Both-
leaning on this one?
Both
yeah,
were
go
on
ahead.
Dave Campbell's magazine, but only one for the preview episode or preview initial run. The summer run. There was a fall one and the summer one. Crabtree was on the summer one.
You going Crabtree or Senior
I
Sack?
would lean Crabtree of the two. I would vote Crabtree.
I think so too. I really do think there's a legitimate case to be made that he is the greatest college football wide receiver of all time. He played 2
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a third year just like averaging his production from the first 2?
Yeah.
I mean, or God forbid a fourth. I mean, you talk about shattering NCAA records. His
Right.
2-year stats over 3 years would get a guy drafted. Over 4 years would get a guy drafted. I mean, they're insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how much people weight this, but solid NFL career, never quite became an elite receiver in the NFL. But if he was the number
Yeah.
2 receiver on a team, that was, you could build an
He
offense.
played
like that.
10 years.
7,500 yards in the NFL, nothing to sneeze at. I'm going with Crabtree. I don't know how much people value this, but like the big moment, of course, the catch versus Texas, things like that stick in people's minds as far as legacy goes.
Right.
I think he'll win. I'm going to vote for him. I think that'd be the right choice.
Same.
The black region, the other Elite Eight matchup on the football side of the bracket, Patrick Mahomes versus Zach Thomas. And this one is tougher for me.
It is because Mahomes is still, young. I mean, Zach Thomas has a complete career to look at, which is why I would lean Zach Thomas today. But if you allowed me to be 10 years in the future, I would say Mahomes probably because of what I think he's going to do. But today I would lean Zach Thomas and I would vote Zach Thomas in a poll. Zach Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame.
He should. I'm conflicted on this one. If people are waiting time in college more heavily, I think the answer is Zach Thomas. He played for better teams, and he was Southwest Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Mahomes put up gaudy numbers in college, but didn't get recognized with
awards and achievements like that because Texas Tech didn't win enough games while he was here. Is Zach Thomas one of the 15 best middle linebackers in NFL history?
Okay. Is Patrick Mahomes one of the 10, 15 best quarterbacks today?
I'll answer it this way. I'm not answering the heart of your question as far as best in terms of like most accomplished.
Uh-huh.
If you're asking me for the three most talented football players, any position, any time period, in some order, I am going Patrick Mahomes, Randy Moss, and Reggie White.
Wow.
Like, that is how highly I think of how good he is at football. The legacy component isn't there yet, partly because he's 26. But like, had he won a second Super Bowl already, this would probably be a no-brainer for me. Projecting out 10 years, 15 years, what I think his career will end up looking like, I think I would also
That's
go
crazy.
Mahomes.
Randy Moss and Reggie White.
I mean, don't you think though?
Like, Patrick. No, I think Patrick Mahomes is overrated. In that sense?
Are you trolling me right now?
No, dude.
Name a more talented quarterback. I would maybe hear Aaron Rodgers on this. Other than that, I more talented quarterback than Patrick Mahomes in any era. Go.
Man. Reggie White, Randy Moss.
Name one. Name a more talented quarterback.
I mean, those are like high praises.
They're the most talented guys to ever play their respective positions.
I agree.
Who's the more talented quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes has been in the perfect position, perfect team for his skills, the perfect receivers that fit those skills. Mm-hmm. We'll see how he can do this year.
Okay. So who's the more talented quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
Man,
I'll phrase it to you this way.
That's a little bit of a homer take.
I'll give you a homework.
I just try to be anti-homer.
I'll give you a homework assignment. Go find a throw that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Roger Staubach, Joe Montana, any of them. Go find a throw that they made that you could look me in the eye and say, Patrick Mahomes can't make that throw. Because I could find you 10 in Patrick Mahomes' young 4 or 5 year career that I know Tom Brady cannot make.
And
I know we're debating different things here. I know
but Tom Brady
talking
puts
most talented
himself in
versus
the best
Super Bowl
position.
wins. Tom Brady's defense has also put him in a great position. Like he won a Super Bowl 12-3 one time.
Yeah. And that was late in his career.
And I'm not going on a Brady is overrated. I'm not arguing with 7 Super Bowls or however many he has. I'm not talking legacy. I'm talking most talent.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was kind of joking when I said Patrick was overrated, but I'm just not ready to. I actually need to see more, right?
You hesitated when I asked if Zach Thomas was one of the 15 best middle linebackers of all time.
Well, I just was kind of seeing.
Mahomes has the highest quarterback rating in NFL history.
Yeah.
With a minimum 1,000 pass attempts. It's a big enough sample size. It's not going anywhere.
in an era where you can't play defense, yes.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Tom Brady are all playing in the same era.
True. Yeah.
Anyway, go find me the throw that Peyton Manning made that Patrick Mahomes can't. Anyway,
Hey, Peyton Manning threw a lot of ducks. He threw a lot of ducks for touchdowns.
Having said all that, I still don't know who I'm going to vote for. I need to marinate on that more because I
would vote Zach Thomas.
What Zach Thomas did.
I love your energy. I love your energy. I love the Patrick Mahomes stand that I've brought out in you right now. I didn't know that was in there. I just maybe it's a little much for me. I'm like the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan I thought I knew. But now you have surpassed me bar none. I think another thing is just like I'm like I don't know. This is the second time today I've brought up that Patrick Mahomes might be overrated.
I'm about to give you a sincere
I don't know how to feel about it. Okay.
In the NBA, it's pretty much undisputed that either Michael Jordan or LeBron James, I think that's 1 and 2, are the greatest players of all time. And what held LeBron back from even being in that discussion for a long time was the rings. MJ had 6, LeBron had none for a while. LeBron has 4 now, so I think I've never been of the mindset that LeBron has to get to 6 in order to get MJ.
Right.
Just like MJ didn't need to get 10 to catch Bill Russell. It is obviously going to be a tall task for Mahomes to get to 7 Super Bowls, assuming Brady doesn't win another. He's still could, right? I think if Mahomes gets to 4, I think they're assuming he puts up the numbers we think he's going to put up between now and then. I think there's a
Right.
reasonable conversation to be had.
If he throws 46 touchdowns and 5,000 yards this year, he'll break several records, and he only played 1 game his first year through 5 years in the NFL.
Yeah. No, he's already
on a ridiculous pace.
been first to, every number imaginable.
Yeah, he's really good.
He has not
I
lost.
I bristle at the he's a Hall of Famer takes now because, I mean, if he blows out his knee tomorrow, right? Knock on wood, he doesn't.
Yeah.
It just all that stuff is, you know what I'm saying?
They debated this after his 1 year second year as a starter when he won the Super Bowl. He said if he retired
Right,
tomorrow, would he be a Hall of
2018.
Famer?
Yeah.
I think probably. I mean, how many Super Bowl MVPs are not Hall of Famers? Especially like record setting. Anyway,
Yeah.
what was I going to say? Oh, he has not lost a postseason game in regulation before the Super Bowl. Nobody has knocked him out in 60 minutes before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's really good.
And what stings, I'll be honest here, what stings is the head-to-head loss to Brady in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And the choke job. I don't think it was all on Mahomes, but the Chiefs' choke job last against Burrow. I mean, they were way better than the Bengals.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. Victory Bells region. Cheryl Swoops seems to be the favorite against Wes Kitley.
Yep.
Now-
yeah, the swoops.
Now, here's where I want to push back on some people. Why would you say
Okay.
Swoops? Because of the natty? 'Cause I got-
This whole time I've held players in a higher. I just think in this kind of thing, I would say player over coach.
That's fair. I think I've seen that sentiment, and I've said the same to you. The coaches have an advantage because they get to stay
Yeah.
for 30 years.
Right.
A lot of people say Cheryl Swoops won a national championship. Okay. So did Wes Kitley.
Right.
Wes Kitley has coached 8 Olympic medalists. Cheryl Swoops, of course, has 3 gold medals of her own.
Right.
Wes Kitley has coached 17 individual national champions, 205 All-Americans, 111 Big 12 champions, 6-time conference or regional coach of the year awards, Lone Star Conference Hall of Fame. So the people who just go, oh, Natty voted for Cheryl Swoops, I would have to just dispute that based on what's on Wes Kitley's resume appears to be comparable. Now he coached it
Right.
instead of playing it, but anyway. But having said all that, I'll go with Cheryl Swoops. I just don't think it's as cut and dry as some people make it out to be. Last one is this one is interesting. I'll be curious your thoughts on this. The Fearless Champions region.
Yeah.
Marsha Sharp, who, as you've noted, has a freeway named after her in Lubbock.
Right. Yeah.
Versus Tim Tadlock, who does not have a freeway named after him in Lubbock.
Yeah, I was about
And
to say we driving around on the Tadlock Avenue.
Yeah, is that your only metric you use? The Tadlock Turnpike?
Yeah. Until Loop 88 is named after Tim Tadlock. I'm going on the Marsha Sharp bandwagon.
You're really not going to engage in a more serious, nuanced conversation than that.
No. She's national championship coach.
What is harder? To win a national championship in a sport where very few programs at the time really made an effort to compete, or going to Omaha and being one of the final 8 teams out of 300 plus
Yeah.
4 times? 14, 16, 18, yeah, 4 times. Which one is more impressive? As far as top of the resume,
Winning a national championship.
if there were 2 women's college basketball teams and you won the national championship, that's
Yeah.
more impressive to you than really.
Are there only 2?
No, but I'm using that to illustrate the broader point.
Okay. I think you're using it to make your point sound better, but you're not going to change
Well, I
my
am.
mind.
Like, okay, if Texas Tech wins the Big 12 in football this year, is that more special when they won the Border Conference going 2-0 in conference play? I think so, yeah. Now, they're both conference championships. You get one banner for both of those.
Right.
I'm just saying, when people look at Cheryl Swoop's WNBA championships, there were 8 teams at the time. Sport was brand new. Like, there was no investment in it, no parity, no competition. I'm not saying no competition, but it's not like a fully formed NBA 50 years, 100 years in. It was like we threw it together, and in the expansion year, they won the championship against the other 7 teams. To me, I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm saying like that's different than winning it all in the NFL when you have 32 well-established NFL franchises with a high level of parity, talent across the board. So yeah, Tadlock hasn't gotten over the hump. But making the final 8 out of 300 plus 4 times is impressive to me. I don't know if it's as impressive as winning a national championship. Marcia Sharp also. Go ahead.
It's impressive, yeah.
Marcia Sharp also.
I didn't say it wasn't impressive.
20 postseason appearances in 24 seasons. 10 of those were in the Sweet 16. 8 times she was either Southwest Conference or Big 12 champion. Like, honestly, the resumes look comparable to me. Marcia Sharp just did it for twice as long as Tadlock has done it for.
Right. And that's another thing. It's a career achievement versus in the midst, right? In 2 more years, it might be easy to say Tadlock because he wins back-to-back national championships.
Right. And that's
in 10 years. In 10 years, it might be easy to say Tadlock. Not because he's won a national championship, but because he just repeats this success and goes to all 4 times, and you're in the Elite 8 of basketball or baseball 8 times after never having done it.
And
you do it 8 times in 20 years.
Might even have a road named after him by then.
I think so.
What
road would you name after Tim Tadlock? Something that goes through campus? Flint?
Yeah, how about you rename the Drive of
19th?
Champions? No, you rename the Drive of Champions right behind the ballpark.
No, we're taking that down. We're moving that.
Well, where have you move it to? Call it the Tadlock Turnpike.
Okay.
So yeah, and I remember what I was going to say. You did this on KKAM in 2016, I believe.
I did. Cheryl Swoops won.
She did, and why I thought it would be interesting to bring this up. Cheryl Swoops could still definitely win. I think she'd probably be the favorite if we were making odds. But since then, Tadlock has gone to Omaha twice more. Wes Kitley won a national championship. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl MVP. So
yeah, there
were factors that changed.
Do you know my predictions?
Yeah, in these 4 matchups.
No, in the what side is Mahomes on? Is he opposite of Swoops?
Yes, all the football players. 4? All the football players are opposite non-football players.
Mahomes Swoops. Final 2.
Interesting.
Mahomes Crabtree.
I
voted for Zach Thomas, but I think the people will vote for Patrick Mahomes.
I definitely think Swoops is coming out of her side of the bracket.
Yeah.
I could see any one. I don't think Gabe Rivera will go all the way.
No.
I could see any one of the other 3, Crabtree, Thomas, or Mahomes, getting it.
I want to say it was Zach Thomas and Swoops in the final 2 in 2016.
Interesting. Yeah, and that's another thing. If Zach Thomas, if the NFL had already done right by him and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame,
right?
Would that change the? Like, I'm on the 100%. Fence on this. Mahomes Thomas. If he was in the Hall of Fame, I'd say okay, that tips the scales for me.
Yeah, if he has a gold jacket and a bust.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll start voting on this week. We're on a hiatus there as baseball season wrapped up, but super curious to see how this shakes out.
Did you ever go to Lone Wolf, Kyle?
Driven past it many a time, Rob. Never stopped.
You never went into Lone Wolf. That's sad.
Yeah.
Wrote an ode to Lone Wolf today on KCAM.com.
Oh. I'll have to
Big
check
part of my
that out.
life.
Yeah,
I once witnessed a domestic dispute at Lone Wolf.
right by
Familiar with the ultimate
LCU there.
ultimate punch? 2 fists and a foot all at the same time.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that
it's an
happened at
ultimate punch at Lone Wolf. Yeah, between a line cook and his lover that came in.
Hmm.
Yeah, I assume it was a lover. Anyways, you can read the story on KCAM.com.
I was partaking in gaucho culture this weekend.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Jacobson runs a side business. She's a wedding planner and day of coordinator.
Oh, nice.
So on Saturday, she was not home from 9 a.m. to midnight while she was
Oh,
running the
wow.
wedding. So I was on with the Gauchita for 15 hours. I watched some postseason baseball, watched some Family Guy, but I wanted to watch some movies as well. You ever seen Young Guns with
I have.
Emilio Estevez? What do you think of Young Guns?
I like it.
I
It's been a
liked it.
long time.
So that's what I was going to say. I watched it 15 years ago.
Did it hold up?
No, I remembered it more fondly than when I rewatched it. I was kind of like, that
I'll
was
need to
fine.
rewatch it. I'll need to rewatch it. It did
I-
spur my the Rob Rowe show open.
Mm.
Yeah. From back in the day.
I think what I couldn't get over was Emilio Estevez being Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Seemed like a strange fit for me. Because I think in roles like that, like when Jeff Bridges did True Grit, perfect. Like nailed
Yeah.
it. Was absolutely the right choice for that role.
Rooster Cogburn. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, John Wayne was, and then
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean when they remade it.
right.
So same thing. I watched Django Unchained. Very, very R-rated movie. I was more R-rated than I remember.
Yeah.
But Jamie Foxx nailed that.
Yeah.
So Django was great. Don't recommend it to
So did
anybody.
Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, he was good in that one too. So it was fun. Django's really long, but
Yes, it
I
is.
had
Good
15
movie.
hours to burn, so I was fine
Good
with
movie.
that.
As far as Tarantino goes, where are you ranking the Django?
Mm,
It's like top 3 Tarantino.
I think so.
Like Reservoir
Um,
Dogs, Hateful Eight. I do not like Pulp Fiction. I've never even gotten all the way through it. I don't like it.
thought
I
it
don't
was
know if
funny.
people are gonna hate on that, but
Thought it was funny that in Django, Quentin Tarantino makes an appearance as an actor and gets blown up by dynamite.
yeah. That's an Australian.
Am I allowed to say that Django is number one?
Yeah.
As far as Tarantino,
Yeah, I gave it top 3.
I mean, I'm
I
not.
really liked Hateful Eight.
So I'll come clean here. I haven't seen Inglorious Bastards, but I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, that'd be a top one.
Kill Bill doesn't really do it for me.
I
I'm not
love
saying
those
it's
movies.
bad, but
Yeah, I like
um,
Kill Bill.
I think Django might be my favorite. So, did I see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? I haven't. I haven't. Seen
Oh,
it.
I haven't seen that one yet either. I need to see that. That's with
Anyway.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Leo?
So I'm replacing Song of the Week with Western of the Week. This was great. So I asked Twitter, "Hey, give me a cowboy or a Western themed movie." Got like
Right.
45 responses. So I watched those two, and like the rest of the summer, I'm going to try to go back to that tweet and read the list and try to watch as many of those as I can.
Nice. I'll try to watch Young Guns before we record again.
Okay. Yeah. Hope you can go in without my
Yeah.
bias clouding your judgment. But I was kind
I
of like,
don't- Yeah.
Django. Best line of that movie. I
Easy.
can't spoil it because it came out 10
No.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
So towards the end, he's exacting his revenge. Of course, he's got a 6-shooter, and he kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Using
Uh-huh.
using 6 bullets. And Samuel L. Jackson is the last guy he needs to kill.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson goes, "I count 6 shots." And he pulls out another gun and goes, I count 2 guns. Kneecaps him. Makes him suffer, and then he blows up the whole house. And
Yeah.
Brutal way to die for
Yeah,
Samuel
it's
L.
been
Jackson.
a long time since I've seen that one too.
It'll be a long time while you're
Hey, it's
watching.
been on Netflix.
Yeah,
a
it was
long
on
time.
Netflix.
You know, I made a mental note earlier this week to not give a song of the week, but give another recommendation. I don't remember what it was. Like you did the Western of the week. I had a recommendation, but I don't remember what it was. I'm reading through Atomic Habits. Maybe it's a book of the week.
Oh,
It's a good book.
I've heard of that, but I might catch some heat for this. The True Grit remake.
It's better than the original.
Yeah. Maybe that's just because I love Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
I don't dislike John Wayne, obviously, but
I don't know if I am all the way on board there, but
that is,
there's a guy on TikTok that does Jeff Bridges impersonations.
yeah.
He's
Do
the
you want-
only Jeff Bridges impersonator I've ever seen.
Do you want mine?
Yeah.
I don't believe in fairy tales or sermons or stories about money, baby sister, but thanks for the cigarette.
Nailed it.
True Grit is the remake is probably top 5 for me.
Yeah.
And it might not be like 3, 4, or 5. I'd have to think through that some.
Like Western or movie, period.
Movie period.
The True Grit remake is your favorite movie of all time.
It might be. It's top 5, I think. I haven't thought through this. I need to think through what is my favorite movie ever.
Yeah, let's do that this summer.
Yeah, we can work through it.
Yeah,
Watch
we'll
some
work through
movies.
it.
And
Yeah.
we're not on any kind of deadline there to pronounce the greatest movie of all time.
I don't know that I'm there with you that True Grit remake would be.
It's okay. You know, a quote that I enjoy and that resonated with me, Rob, was, "You and I don't have to agree for me to be right." So it really matters not whether you come
That's
on
true.
board the True Grit remake bandwagon.
That's true. I love that movie. It's not better than the original, but
Is this a Jeff
it's
Bridges
good. Yeah.
impersonator? Can I play
That's
this?
Jeff Bridges. Yeah, that's Jeff Bridges doing Chumbawamba.
All right, let's see if his impersonation is better than mine.
All right.
Well, I get knocked down, but I get up again, man.
That is pretty good. It's just like your opinion, man.
I love the niche impersonation.
Yeah.
Like,
That's great.
oh man, this is a perfect marriage of song and impersonation.
We're officially in like Gaucho's after hours mode now, but you and Hyatt a few weeks ago were talking about there aren't any good impressionists left or impersonators.
Yeah, Hyatt was saying that. Yeah,
I think
good ones out
I think there's some, and I texted in
Yeah.
one that I really like, and I wish they'd let her do more. Chloe Feynman on SNL.
Yes.
But they give her like 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
she just like lightning rounds it. And I'm like, this is some of the best stuff on SNL. Y'all need to
Yeah.
like make this a standing.
Is she the one that does Drew Barrymore?
Probably she's the blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a good Drew Barrymore.
Kevin Spacey pre-cancellation. He did some good ones. I don't think we're allowed to celebrate Kevin Spacey anymore though.
Yeah.
But
Not Loki. Loki does good ones. What's his name?
like low key, he's a good
No.
impersonator.
No. Loki, the actor that plays Loki in Marvel.
Yeah. What is that actor's name? Why am I blanking on this? Like I can totally picture exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Damn it. Could look it up, but I don't want to.
Anyway,
That guy does good ones.
thank you to Cardinals.
Matt Damon does a good Matt McConaughey.
I don't like Matt Damon.
You like Matt Damon?
I don't like Matt Damon.
Something personal there? Or?
It's all Hollywood, so there's tons of pretense regardless.
Sure.
It's unbearable with Matt Damon. Like nobody thinks more highly of Matt Damon than Matt Damon. And he's not a
Well,
great
I mean,
person.
he wants to give clean water to, But you like apples?
I don't
Do you like apples?
No.
How about those apples?
Yeah, he's a beatdown for me. I don't like Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, huh?
Yeah.
He married a teacher and is living his life, and you don't like him.
Okay, dude, everybody marries a teacher. Like, that doesn't make you special. Like, all of us are married to middle-class people. I'm supposed to what? Like, throw this guy a parade for being slightly normal?
I like Matt Damon. I like his movies. Departed. It's a great movie.
Couldn't get
Didn't
through
he
it.
has a false humility? You couldn't get through The Departed?
Hated it.
Cal, you and I are going to have a much different list of movies. I'm afraid to even get into that with you.
I don't think so. I think we might find that we agree on more than we disagree.
Okay.
I just
You
can't
couldn't
stand
get
that
through
thing.
to The Departed.
I like zoned out. It was,
Do you like Leo
yeah,
DiCaprio?
yeah.
Okay. He's a big climate changer.
I didn't say I didn't like Matt Damon because of climate change. Man,
Oh.
I thought one of Leo's acceptance speeches where he intertwined climate change was ridiculous because he was like,
Yeah.
we couldn't find anywhere with snow, and like they were filming in July. It's like, yeah, duh.
Right. The Revenant.
Yeah. So anyway, which I don't look, people in Hollywood know absolutely nothing about the real world, so I don't take any
Right.
of their political beliefs for anything.
Right.
Right, left, or neither. So no, I don't care what anybody like Matt Damon has to say about any political issue whatsoever. Zero. Or anything else that Matt Damon has
I
to
just
say.
like him as an actor. I just like him as an actor.
I don't think he's that good of an actor.
Oh, well.
Like, I'm sure he's good at the craft, but it doesn't, like, I would never see, oh, Matt Damon's in it. Let's go watch it.
Well, yeah, I mean, not now. Stars kind of. Whatever happened to George Clooney? He hasn't
think
done
he's-
anything in a while. Did you ever watch The Men Who Stare at Goats?
No. George Clooney,
Up
Let's
in the
see.
air.
what is, oh, brother, where art thou?
Great one. Damn, we're in a tight spot.
Are you
I
a,
watched that just the other day.
are you a Fops guy or a Dapper Dan man? Dapper
It's a,
Dan man.
it's a geographical oddity. 2 weeks from everywhere.
I do
That's a good movie. That's a good movie.
I do a pretty good Soggy Bottom Boys impersonation.
Yeah, that's probably a top 10 for me. Oh, brother, where art thou?
Great soundtrack too. All of it.
We thought you was a toad.
There's some Alison Krauss in
Are
there.
we still recording?
Yeah. Soggy Bottom Boys are good. There's some old like
Yeah.
Western string band stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's
Indian War Whoop. It's all good.
Yeah.
I love that soundtrack.
top 5 soundtrack for sure. That and like, Tarzan.
When they're taking Babyface George to jail,
Yeah.
the whole town's, they got like their torches. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody put 310 to Yuma on your list.
Yeah.
That's
think
a good one.
I think multiple.
Yeah, that one needs to be on your list.
Okay, we
Have you seen
absolutely
that
have
one?
to stop. This has gone on for too long. I haven't seen it
Okay.
yet. Thank you to Cardinals. Subscribe on Patreon. Give back to the Matador Club. Talk to y'all next week. Love y'all.